Alright, welcome back. This is the Crown Clown, and today we are doing What If Deku Had the Powers of Rain, Part 8. So, I hope you guys are going to enjoy this video. As always, if you do enjoy this video, drop me a like, comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and let's start jumping into this. Right where we left off, Deku was, being taken to the hospital for his several broken bones, and he almost committed murder by trying to kill Muscular, who killed his mother and Kota's parents. So, yeah. Gran Torino's keeping an eye on him heavily. Bakugo was taken by the League of Villains, although this time it was a bit more manipulative than in canon. He wasn't just forcefully taken. Stain actually manipulated him into coming with them, on kind of like using his own movements against him. So we're gonna pick up right now with Bakugo with the League of Villains. So Shigaraki is there and he's like, "Oh, hello. You see, I've had my eye on you for quite some time." And Bakugo's like, "Hey, I don't swing that way, man. Like, I'm not gay." And Shigaraki's just annoyed and he's like, "Shut up. That's not what I meant. You've been a potential recruit for a long, long time. And if you're not going to join willingly, I'll force you to join." And Bakugo's like, "How exactly are you going to force me to join?" And that's when Shigaraki, plays his trump card. Both of Bakugo's parents have been kidnapped right from underneath his nose, and they're now chained up in chairs in front of Bakugo, with Shigaraki right behind them, his hands on their necks, just one finger off of each one. He tells Bakugo if he becomes a villain, not only will he be given more power than he could ever hope to achieve, but he will also be given the chance for his parents to be set free. They'll be able to live fully, no strings attached. All he has to do is join them. And Bakugo's like, "What do you mean about power?" And Shigaraki tells him, "We're in league with some people that can, let's say, bring out your quirk's fullest potential, but that's not all. We have someone who could also give you multiple quirks." And Bakugo's like, "Multiple quirks? I can have more than one?" And Shigaraki's like, "Yes, but your body would have to be altered to withstand it, but yes, you could have more than one quirk." And Bakugo's deep hatred for Deku is starting to show. His lust for power, his anger, his hate, it's all bubbling up to the surface now. He's grinning, he has explosions popping off his quirks, just literally skyrocketing right now. And Shigaraki's just grinning. Like, he thinks it's absolutely amazing that Bakugo's showing off this much potential. And Shigaraki says, "But there's one minor thing you'll have to do to prove your loyalty to us, of course." And Bakugo's like, "What's that?" And he says, "Well, there's two things. Two minor little things here and there. But hey, it'll work out." And Bakugo's like, "Tell me what they are." And Shigaraki gets this smile across his face and tells him, "You're going to kill All Might." And Bakugo's just like, "What?" And Shigaraki's like, "Yes, you're going to kill All Might for us. When he's weakened, of course. You could never take him on right now. But still, you're going to kill All Might. Is that understood?" And Deku's father is also on the list of people that Bakugo has to kill. And Shigaraki says, "Do these two things, and we'll give you the power to steal quirks." And of course, Shigaraki's not divulging everything to Bakugo, just the selling points. And Bakugo's like, "You'll let my parents go? Completely? No strings attached?" And Shigaraki says, "We'll move them out of the country. How's that?" And Bakugo agrees. He agrees to do it. He agrees to kill Deku's dad and to kill All Might. Like, his thirst for power is too much. His hatred towards Deku just blown out of proportion from all of the times that Deku stomped him out, just obliterated him, belittled him. Bakugo's had enough. And Bakugo's thinking, it's my turn to level the playing field now. So, while that's going on, they're all having a manhunt for the League of Villains. And Momo tells them that, she did put a tracker on one of them, and she has the device to it, so she gives that to them, and they're prepping for the raid, they're doing all that. But Deku, he's out cold. Like, he's in the hospital, and it's just not going well for the chief. Because they choose not to use Recovery Girl on him. Gran Torino makes the call saying, no, if he were to be fully recovered, we'd have an incident of students going out to save their classmate. That's not going to happen here. I'm sorry, but until this is over, he's going to stay unconscious, on sedatives, and not know a thing. And that's what the hospital does. And Nezu's like on there, and he's doing the whole apology thing. But at the same time, he has Gran Torino in his ear. And Nezu's, whenever he's not talking, his hands are over his mouth and he's whispering to his intercom earpiece, like, okay, understood. And they're like, we're going to be sending some other people to help out with restraining all the students. But Kendo, she's in Deku's room because, that's her man, and she's just like wanting to be there. Uraraka, on the other hand, she's kind of just lost. She's in a daze. She don't know what's going on. She doesn't know what to do. She's just kind of lost. And of course, Ida's coming over there. He's like, "Hey, are you alright?" And Uraraka, she's just like bawling her eyes out. And her and Ida actually start talking because Ida, he's always there. He's always that type of guy that'll listen to somebody. Even if it is some bullshit, like, Ida will listen to you and not give a fuck about the situation. He'll hear you out because he did hear Deku out. But then he also did punch Deku, so Ida's got to listen first, and then he'll put his actions in motion. But so Urok is talking to him, and he's telling her, yeah, what you did using Bakugo just to make Deku jealous clearly backfired on you. Not only that, but it makes you, you know, one hell of a sick, twisted person. It makes you an absolute disgusting person overall. Like, that's manipulative, and that could have actually hurt him a whole lot. And Uraka's like, no, it was actually Bakugo's idea. And Ida's just like, okay, now that makes a whole lot more sense now. I'm sorry I called you those names. And Uraka's like, no, no, even though it was his idea, I still went with it. So, of course, that makes me those things as well. And Ida's just like, only one thing you can do from here on out. Uraka's like, what's that? Ida tells her, move forward. Be a better person. Acknowledge what you've done now, apologize for it, and strive to be better in the future. That's all we can really do. That's humans right there. For us to be heroes, we need to be better than we were the day before. We need to constantly be striving for a better output than what we put forth today, tomorrow. Every day we need to be better than the day we were previously. We have to constantly improve. That's just something we have to do, especially since we want to be heroes. We have to be able to push our boundaries to the utmost limits and continuously surpass them day in and day out. And Urok is just like, I kind of get it now. And just in case everyone's wondering, I didn't forget that Ida is paralyzed. He heard what happened, and he did come down in a wheelchair to see about everybody. So no, Ida was not, just, conveniently healed for plot. No, didn't happen. Ida's in a wheelchair visiting everyone because, you know, Ida cares about everyone even though he acted like a complete and total moron. He still cares about his former classmates even though Ida's permanently retired now. But still, and Urarok is looking at him and she's like, did it hurt? And Ida's like, immensely. Hurt my pride more than anything. And actually, my pride is what got me there in the first place. Deku tried to warn me. He tried to tell me that I'd only get myself hurt, that I wouldn't be able to fully stop him, and that I wasn't really being a hero at all. And he knows what Deku did because that's front page news, even though they said it was extreme circumstances, life or death, and he has the injuries to prove it. Still, though, I know it, I know I shouldn't think of himself as better than me, but he did it to, honestly, he saved someone by doing that. That's something I could never have thought about doing. I didn't try to save anyone whatsoever. All I thought about was taking on Stain, being caught completely by surprise, not knowing his quirk or anything, and it cost me my future. Like, it cost me everything. I have nothing anymore to look forward to. I don't know what I'm going to do anymore. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm completely miserable now. But while I was with you guys, I had fun. I was learning what it meant to be a hero. I thought rules were everything, yet when I broke them, I found out exactly why rules are important. And Uraka just hugs Ida, and she's like, one day we'll get your legs back to working. And he's like, it's fine if they never do. But just at that moment, Gran Torino sees Ida and he motions him and Uraka come into Deku's room. Kendo sees Uraka. She doesn't say nothing. She sees Ida and she's like, Ida, how you been? Ida's like, oh, I'm alright. And, Gran Torino closes the door behind him and he's like, alright, I need you guys to listen closely to this. And they're like, okay. And he says, whatever happens, keep him in this room. Do not let him out of this room. Do not let anyone else in this room. He has to heal. And beyond all that, I don't need him going to the raid completely illegally, mind you, and fighting people just to try and save Bakugo. And he's like, okay, but why are you telling us when you're here? Gran Torino says, I was getting that. I have to go to the raid. They've summoned me. I have to do it. And, just as he says that, the door opens, and Gran Torino's like, oh, so you finally are back. And Uraka, Kendo, and Ida just look, and they're like, Aizawa. And Aizawa's like, yeah, I'm back. I'm going to be your teacher again. And he looks in the hospital bed and sees all the sedatives being pumped into Deku, all of the just casts he's in, the x-rays on the wall. And it saddens him that he wasn't there to help protect his student. That his student is in that bad a condition, and he looks at Ida and sees Ida paralyzed from the waist down. And he feels bad about that too. He just starts crying right there, embracing his students, and saying that he won't fail them ever again. He won't let anything like that cause him to go out of commission ever again. And has always just having a moment with his students, because even though he only spent a small amount of time with them, he really did like that class. Like, he loved those students. And Gran Torino, he kind of sympathizes with Aizawa, but Gran Torino goes and he leaves. And we're at the point where the raid's about to happen. Everyone's there, but there's an extra. And he actually has a new power. So, while everything was being settled and set up, Bakugo actually met All for One. And All for One gave Bakugo a new quirk. He gave Bakugo not only shock absorption, but he also gave him a flame quirk to go along with his explosions to create more burn damage. So, yeah. But don't just think it's any type of flame quirk, because it's not. It doesn't come out of his hands. It comes out of his mouth. It's kind of like a dragon's breath quirk. And Bakugo doesn't really know how to use the Dragon's Breath all that well, but he's getting a handle on it slowly. And he's there. But they're having Bakugo be under the pretenses that he's just there to be saved by the pros, and then when All Might's weakened, that's when he strikes. That's the plan. His family's, already been transported out of there, but they're still with the villains. Like, pretty much only like twice as clones of the villains are left behind. Bakugo's been chained up and gagged to a chair just for the effect. And when they break into them, they realize it's a setup. Because there's Nomu's like going out like crazy. And all the Nomus are just running rampant, attacking. But so are the twice clones. But they notice like these guys can't take a lot of hits, and then they start to melt. And then comes the big guy. A shockwave hits everyone, just destroying the entire area. And it's all for one. He grabs Bakugo and throws him straight towards All Might. Just for effect, but All for One really doesn't give a fuck about Bakugo's safety. So he's not holding back, and All Might sees that, and that's kind of got All Might's guard dropped when it comes to Bakugo. And like there's news copters everywhere going around, and All for One and All Might's battles taking place. And since there's no Bakugo rescue team, Bakugo's still there. And Gran Torino's there, and he tries to tell Bakugo to get out of the way, but when he tries to attack All for One, Gran Torino does, and All for One hits Gran Torino back, Bakugo breathes fire and burns Gran Torino to a crisp. Like it's max output because Bakugo can't control the output. Meaning, on live TV, he burned Gran Torino to nothing more than a charred corpse. And all of his classmates just saw Bakugo commit murder on their teacher. Except for Deku. And at this point now, like, everyone is, from class 1A is in Deku's room, chilling, just checking on him. And Aizawa's catching up with all of them, and Aizawa sees Bakugo do that, and he's shocked. Like, he is shook to his core. And All Might drops his guard for a minute there at what just happened, and that second was all it took for All for One to just slam those tendrils straight through All Might's stomach. But that doesn't stop All Might. All Might's pissed. He's pissed the fuck off. That was his best friend, his mentor, his mentor's best friend also, so All Might is pissed. And he just takes it and he rushes straight for One for All. Like, what did you do to this boy? And he slams the United States of Smash right down point blank range, impaled fully, but still he grabbed onto them and pulled himself through the attack, and United States of Smash All for One straight in the face down into the earth, creating a shockwave and crater that's widespread by 300 kilometers. And it's just like destruction. Well, not kilometers, just meters, like 300 meters out, and he's just destroyed everything. But after that, he's weak and he's injured. And Bakugo walks up to him and he tells All Might, nothing personal, just protecting my family. He grabs All Might's face and his throat and uses full power explosion to kill All Might point blank by blowing up his face and throat. There's no way All Might survives that. And instead of that triumphant cheer, it's just All Might just got killed. And Kirigiri gets there with Warp Gate, and Bakugo's the only one that makes it through. So All for One still is captured. Make no mistake about that. But when Bakugo gets back, his next target is there and ready. And Bakugo's like, wait, I still have to kill this old man? I just killed my teacher and All Might. I think I'm pretty much set. And he's like, oh, we believe you're one of us now. This is just part of your vengeance, though. And Bakugo's like, oh, you don't say. He's high off the adrenaline right now. Just the adrenaline, the rush that he got from killing All Might and Gran Torino. Like, he's pretty much just lost it. He's off the deep end. The shock, the adrenaline, it's pushed him over the edge in a bad way. So, he just grabs Deku's dad, which I think I called him Toya. So he grabs Toya Midoriya by the face and just breathes fire on him, burning his face and leaving a charred corpse behind. Bakugo's parents were there to watch, and his mother's heart literally broke seeing the cold-blooded killer that her son's become. And the doctor is like, he does have exceptional powers. He's a perfect candidate for the special procedure. And Bakugo's like, what procedure? And the doctor tells him, to make you able to steal quirks. And Bakugo says, sign me up. So Bakugo leaves with the teacher. Well, not the teacher, but the doctor. And the League of Villains is kind of just like, holy shit. Dobby's just like, man. Dobby actually kind of likes Bakugo right now. Just like that cold-hearted, just killing intent. All because of family and heroes. Like, Dobby's just like, I like this guy. He's gonna make it good in our organization. And fucking Toga's just like, he's not that bad looking either. So Deku leaves with the doctor, and the League of Villains is up to do what League of Villains do. And at this point, Deku's finally awake, and he looks around, and the only students that are really left there is Uraraka, Ida, Kendo, and that's it. Like, Kaminari and Jiro, they're out talking, and Kaminari is actually just in disbelief that Bakugo would blatantly kill his idol and his teacher. And Jiro tells him he lost it. He's off the deep end. We can't save him now. We have to hunt him down. And he's like, yeah. But that's not something Deku should have to do. And Jiro's like, why does Rain not have to do it? Like, why don't you want him to hunt him down? Rain is our most powerful asset here. He should be the one hunting down Bakugo. And Kaminari tells him, you saw what he did to Muscular. What would have happened if Deku felt that emotions towards Bakugo? And, you know, Jiro, she's thinking and she's just like, I don't know. Kaminari says, you'd turn him into a killer. Look, I get it. Some villains have to be put down. But not all of them. I'm not gonna pretend like the whole morality thing is even a cause in this. It's not. Plain and simple strategy. If a villain is too out of control, too rambunctious, and too far gone, for other people's safety, a hero must kill the villain. And Jiro puts her hand on, Kaminari's cheek, and she's just like, hey, don't worry about that right now. I know you're hurting. Just let it all out. And Kaminari just grabs her and starts crying into her, just out of pure frustration. Because he thought of Bakugo as kind of like a friend, a rival along with Todoroki. And he knows Deku felt the same way. And Deku legitimately felt bad about brutalizing Bakugo. And now Deku's gonna have to come face to face with him. Like, he can't even imagine what Deku's gonna be going through. And Todoroki, he's just lost. He doesn't know what to do anymore. Not anything whatsoever. Mirio, who is watching it on TV from afar with Night Eye, they're furious. They're out for blood. They're both of their teacher is dead now because of someone at UA. And UA is under heavy scrutiny now. Like, if you thought they were in hot water before, oh no. Now it's 10 times worse that since one of their students has become a cold-blooded killer. But that's where I'm going to leave it off for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, once again, come back tomorrow for another one. And as always, I've been the Crown Clown. And I'll catch you guys later.